The rain-slick streets of Boston glistened under the pale streetlights as Jonathan Hale said, "Every question has an answer, even if it's buried in ashes." His mind churned with the old reports of victims who burst into flames without warning. He was a man who had traded warmth for knowledge, and tonight, his obsession dragged him deeper. As he walked into the morgue's echoing halls, the fluorescent lights hummed above, casting sterile shadows. Dr. Evelyn Carter said, "Jonathan, you shouldn't be here," her voice cautious yet laced with concern. He replied, "If the world fears the fire, then I must walk into it." The smell of chemicals mixed with something far more sinister, a charred scent clinging to the air. A burnt chair sat against the wall, silent testimony to an impossible death. Evelyn's hands trembled as she locked the drawer containing the latest victim. Jonathan leaned closer and whispered, "This is where truth ignites." Jonathan Hale pushed deeper into the morgue's back chamber, every step echoing like judgment. He said, "The fire speaks in silence, Evelyn." Evelyn Carter replied, "Or perhaps it speaks in what it leaves behind." She gestured toward the charred remains of clothing, sealed in evidence bags. Jonathan's hands shook as he studied them, a mix of awe and dread. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, casting sharp shadows. Evelyn whispered, "Science demands reason, but this mocks reason." Jonathan smirked faintly and said, "Reason bends before truth, and truth doesn't care who burns." Evelyn turned away, pressing her hand against the cold steel table. Her breath trembled, the morgue's chill cutting deeper. Jonathan's eyes fixed on the drawer. His voice grew low, almost reverent. "Some secrets are kept not to protect us, but to protect themselves." The hum of the refrigeration units filled the silence. Jonathan said, "I've read every file, every coroner's note, and still nothing explains this." Evelyn Carter replied, "Some fires burn without fuel, some questions without answers." Jonathan tightened his jaw. His eyes burned with obsession. Evelyn touched the edge of the steel cabinet, grounding herself. He said, "If there is no answer, then I'll carve one out of lies and fear." Evelyn muttered, "Or you'll be consumed like them." The weight of her warning hung in the cold air. Jonathan drew closer to the evidence drawer. His reflection in the steel looked like a ghost staring back. The morgue felt alive with unspoken dread, each sound amplified by their unease. He whispered, "The dead do not lie. Their silence is my map." Evelyn looked away, unsure whether to stop him or follow. Jonathan Hale leaned against the cold counter, the morgue air heavy with chemical sting. He said, "Have you ever seen fire that left no trace but ash?" Evelyn Carter shook her head, replying, "Only in stories meant to frighten children." He chuckled bitterly. "Stories are often truer than the truths we tell ourselves." Evelyn's shoulders slumped. She whispered, "There are lines science should not cross, Jonathan." His eyes glinted with defiance. "Science is a candle, and candles burn." The silence cracked as the drawer rattled faintly, metal vibrating under invisible force. Evelyn gasped, stepping back. Jonathan grinned faintly. "The dead are restless, Evelyn," she whispered, "or the living are playing tricks." But his gaze never broke from the drawer. The drawer creaked open by itself, a whisper of air escaping like a sigh from the grave. Jonathan Hale whispered, "This is where silence becomes fire." Evelyn Carter stepped back, clutching her coat. She said, "This is wrong, Jonathan. You're chasing something that devours." His eyes glowed with cold obsession as he leaned forward. "No truth comes without sacrifice." The steel glimmered in fluorescent light as he reached for the handle. Evelyn shouted, "Stop!" But his hand tightened. The room filled with a strange heat, though no flame appeared. Sweat beaded on Evelyn's forehead. Jonathan whispered, "The ashes speak, and I must listen." The city library was hushed, its shelves looming like ancient guardians. Jonathan Hale said, "Truth hides where dust gathers." Evelyn Carter followed, reluctant, her eyes darting nervously between shadowed corners. She said, "We don't belong here after hours." Jonathan smirked faintly, Neither does truth, yet it waits. His fingers brushed brittle newspaper clippings sealed in plastic. The pages told of bodies found reduced to ash, leaving shoes intact. Evelyn whispered, "Coincidence is a safer word." Jonathan shot her a sharp glance. "Safe words don't solve mysteries." The lights flickered, throwing their reflections into fractured glass. A heavy footstep echoed beyond the aisles. Evelyn froze. Jonathan said, "We're not alone." Her breath quickened, the library's silence turning into a trap. Jonathan's voice hardened. "Then someone else fears what I seek." A tall figure stepped from the shadows, refined yet unsettling. Professor Marcus Whitfield said, "Curiosity burns brighter than fire, but often leaves nothing." Jonathan narrowed his eyes. "So you've been watching?" Whitfield smiled coldly. "Guiding, perhaps." Evelyn whispered, "Who are you to guide us?" His voice was smooth, controlled. "One who knows the danger of chasing flames." Jonathan said, "And one who fears what I will uncover." Whitfield's calm demeanor cloaked sharp intent. Evelyn stepped back, her instinct screaming of hidden menace. Jonathan pressed forward. "Knowledge doesn't belong to gatekeepers." Whitfield adjusted his cufflinks with meticulous grace. "Then you will learn how fiercely secrets defend themselves." The library's silence seemed to deepen around them. Jonathan slammed a yellowed file shut, defiance sparking in his eyes. He said, "Every page tells me you're lying by omission." Marcus Whitfield replied, calm and sharp, "And every omission saves lives." Evelyn Carter said, "Secrets don't save lives, they destroy them." Whitfield's lips curled. "You think the world is ready to understand fire that consumes without fuel?" Jonathan stepped closer, eyes blazing. "The world is ready for truth, not your control." The tension vibrated like static between them. Evelyn whispered, "Jonathan, he's dangerous." Jonathan retorted, "So is silence." Whitfield's eyes narrowed, voice dropping lower. "Push further, and you may ignite the very thing you fear." Jonathan replied firmly, "Fear fuels obsession, and obsession uncovers truth." Evelyn Carter gripped Jonathan's arm, whispering, "This isn't worth it." He shook her off. "Every risk carries a cost." Marcus Whitfield said softly, "Curiosity is a blaze. It always consumes its bearer." Jonathan scoffed. "Or it burns down your lies." Evelyn stepped between them. "Enough. This obsession will kill us all." Jonathan's face hardened. "Better to die for truth than live in shadows." Whitfield's smile was chilling. "Noble words, spoken often by those who never return." A thunderous crack of lightning outside rattled the stained glass windows. Dust rained down from the rafters. Evelyn whispered, "This place feels cursed." Jonathan's gaze fixed on Whitfield. "Curses are just truths we refuse to face." The storm outside grew violent, wind howling through cracks. Marcus Whitfield's shadow stretched across the shelves as he said, "Some truths are coffins better left sealed." Jonathan Hale replied coldly, "And coffins break open when the earth shifts." Evelyn Carter's voice cracked. "Why do you protect this secret?" Whitfield's face darkened. "Because once unleashed, it cannot be contained." Jonathan leaned in, eyes piercing. "Then it's already too late." Silence smothered the chamber, broken only by thunder. Evelyn's trembling voice asked, "What if he's right, Jonathan?" He turned to her. "Then let fire be my witness." Whitfield whispered, "So be it. The blaze has already chosen its vessel." His words lingered like smoke. The rain eased as Jonathan Hale and Evelyn Carter entered a crumbling tenement, its walls scarred by fire long past. Jonathan whispered, "Every ruin carries a story untold." Evelyn said, "Or a warning we refuse to hear." A fragile figure emerged from the shadows. Daniel Ward, once a firefighter, now broken by tragedy. His hands shook as he muttered, "I saw it. Flesh burning without flame." Jonathan's voice grew sharper. "Tell me everything." Daniel's eyes were glassy, haunted by memory. She was my sister, one moment alive, the next, ashes. Evelyn whispered. I'm sorry. Daniel rasped. The fire chose her. It will choose again. Jonathan leaned closer. Then we must know why. The room smelled of soot, silence heavy like smoke. Jonathan placed a folder on the table. Every victim is a puzzle piece, Daniel. Evelyn Carter said gently, You've carried this too long. Daniel Ward's hands trembled as he clutched a scorched photograph. She was smiling that morning, then gone by nightfall. His voice cracked like brittle wood. Jonathan said firmly, Her death will not vanish in silence. Daniel whispered, Silence is all I have left. Evelyn stepped forward. Not anymore. You're not alone in this. Daniel looked up, pain etched deep in his face. Jonathan's tone hardened. If fire has a pattern, we will find it. The wind whistled through shattered windows, making the candle flicker on the table. Daniel muttered, But patterns burn those who seek them. The door creaked, and a smooth voice filled the room. Adrian Cross said, Some mysteries consume more than they reveal. Jonathan turned sharply. And you are? Adrian smiled, charming yet dangerous. An ally, perhaps? Evelyn Carter frowned. Allies don't sneak in uninvited. Adrian stepped closer, polished shoes glinting in the dim light. I follow fires, same as you. Daniel Ward whispered, I don't trust him. Jonathan's eyes narrowed. Trust is earned. Adrian replied, Then let me help you uncover what Marcus Whitfield hides. Evelyn's voice trembled. Why now? Adrian smirked. Because truths left in shadows become weapons. Jonathan crossed his arms. Or lies with masks. Silence thickened as suspicion grew. Adrian Cross leaned against the wall, calm and calculated. Whitfield isn't protecting truth, he's burying it. Jonathan Hale said. And why should we believe you? Adrian smirked. Because I've seen what he hides. Evelyn Carter stepped between them. Enough games. What do you want? Adrian's voice lowered. To make sure the right person uncovers the fire. Daniel Ward's hand clenched his photo tighter. He's lying. I feel it. Jonathan studied Adrian's eyes, searching for cracks. Adrian smiled faintly. Distrust sharpens the mind. You'll need it where you're going. Evelyn whispered, He's too comfortable in shadows. Jonathan replied, And shadows know secrets daylight burns away. The tension snapped as thunder cracked outside. Jonathan Hale said, If you know something, speak. Adrian Cross smirked. Whitfield hides documents, records of others who burned. Evelyn Carter asked, Where? Adrian replied, An archive beneath the university, sealed off. Daniel Ward whispered, He's leading you into a trap. Jonathan's eyes darkened. Then I'll walk into it gladly. Evelyn grabbed his sleeve. Jonathan, listen to him. Adrian stepped forward, his tone smooth. You want the truth? Then follow me. Jonathan locked eyes with Adrian. Lead the way. But know this. Betrayal burns deeper than fire. The room felt suffocating, lit by a single trembling candle. The university archive basement smelled of mildew and dust, the heavy air thick with forgotten secrets. Adrian Cross said smoothly, Here lies what Whitfield would never allow you to see. Jonathan Hale's voice sharpened. Then show us. Evelyn Carter clutched her coat, uneasy. Something feels wrong here. Adrian smirked faintly, unlocking a door with practiced ease. Inside, shelves loomed with sealed boxes and faded journals. Daniel Ward muttered, This place feels like a tomb. Jonathan's eyes scanned the boxes. Tombs hold truths too long buried. Adrian pointed to a marked crate. Start there. Evelyn whispered, Jonathan, wait. But he had already stepped forward, hunger for answers driving him into the darkness. Jonathan Hale pried open the crate, papers spilling out like dried leaves. He whispered, Names, victims no one recorded. Evelyn Carter bent low, scanning documents. Why were these erased? Adrian Cross shrugged. Some truths burn institutions. Daniel Ward whispered, "This is a trap. These records led nowhere." Jonathan snapped, "Every page is a key." Evelyn frowned, noticing redacted passages. Too many gaps, too deliberate. Adrian's voice was smooth. Perhaps Whitfield took the rest. Jonathan slammed his hand against the box. "Then we'll drag the truth from him," Daniel muttered, "or he'll burn us for trying." Evelyn's voice cracked. "Jonathan, we can't chase shadows forever," he whispered coldly. "Shadows are where fire begins." Adrian Cross pulled a map from his coat, unfolding it carefully. "The trail leads here, an abandoned foundry outside the city." Jonathan Hale's eyes lit with obsession. "Then that's where we go." Evelyn Carter stepped back, shaking her head. "No, this feels staged." Adrian smirked. "Staged or not, the fire touched it once." Daniel Ward whispered, "He's steering you." Jonathan snapped, "And maybe steering me toward the truth." Evelyn's voice trembled. "Jonathan, can't you see he's using you?" Adrian raised his brow, calm and collected. "The only use is in discovery." Jonathan's jaw clenched. "Then I'll use every clue, no matter who offers it." Tension was suffocating, each word edged with distrust. The group emerged into the stormy night, wind lashing through the trees. "Jonathan Hale," said the foundry, "will answer us." Evelyn Carter shouted over the wind, "Or bury us." Daniel Ward muttered, "I won't step inside that cursed place." Adrian Cross smiled faintly, coat whipping in the gale. "Fear is the ember before fire." Jonathan gripped Evelyn's arm. "We've come too far to stop," she cried. "No truth is worth this." His eyes burned with defiance. "Every truth is." Lightning split the sky, illuminating their faces in stark relief. Adrian whispered, "The blaze has always chosen its seekers." Evelyn looked away, her fear mounting. Daniel's lips trembled as he muttered prayers. The abandoned foundry loomed like a steel corpse against the storm. Jonathan Hale whispered, "Here lies the furnace of secrets." Evelyn Carter said, "This place reeks of death." Daniel Ward froze, shaking violently. "I can't. She died here." Jonathan turned sharply. "Your sister?" Daniel nodded, tears streaming. Adrian Cross smirked. "Then fate brings us full circle." Evelyn snapped, "Don't twist his pain." Jonathan stepped toward the rusted doors. "Pain opens doors lies have sealed." The doors groaned as he pushed them open, the dark inside breathing dust and echoes. Evelyn clutched her coat, trembling. Adrian's voice echoed. "The fire waits, Jonathan," he answered grimly. "Then let it speak." Inside the foundry, rusted beams groaned above them, shadows flickering in the storm's light. Jonathan Hale whispered, "This place breathes with the memory of fire." Evelyn Carter clutched her coat, and with the fear of those who burned. Daniel Ward trembled, staring at scorched walls. "This is where she screamed last." His voice broke into sobs. Adrian Cross smirked, running his fingers across blackened steel. "Tragedy is a cruel teacher." Jonathan turned sharply. "Do not mock him." Evelyn stepped closer to Daniel. "You don't need to be here." Daniel's voice cracked. "But I must." Jonathan whispered fiercely, "Her truth fuels us now." The silence cracked with the crash of thunder, and the foundry doors rattled violently. Jonathan Hale pried open a rusted locker, revealing charred journals. "These are testimonies," he whispered. Evelyn Carter took one, flipping pages filled with erratic handwriting. Someone recorded their fear before the end. Daniel Ward's hands shook as he touched the burnt paper. "It's her handwriting, my sister's." His knees buckled. Adrian Cross smiled faintly. "Fate leaves no coincidences." Jonathan glared. "Or you planted this to deceive us?" Adrian's smirk did not waver. "If I had, the truth would still cut just as deep." Evelyn cried. "Jonathan, don't let him twist this." Jonathan's voice rose, echoing in the chamber. "Then tell me why her words were buried here." Adrian whispered, Because Whitfield feared what they foretold. The storm raged, wind shrieking through broken rafters. Daniel Ward cried. She wrote about fire choosing her. She knew it was coming. Evelyn Carter's eyes widened. That means these deaths are not random. Jonathan Hale's face hardened. A pattern buried by Whitfield. Adrian Cross said, and by those who serve him still. Evelyn snapped. Why do you care, Adrian? He smirked. Because I was chosen once, too. Silence fell like a hammer. Daniel gasped. You? Jonathan snarled. You've lied from the start. Adrian's smile darkened. Lies are sometimes closer to truth than confessions. Evelyn whispered. He's been playing us. Jonathan said coldly. Then the fire is not the only enemy here. Daniel Ward lunged toward Adrian Cross, rage overcoming fear. You led us here to torment me. Adrian sidestepped calmly. Torment is the path to clarity. Jonathan Hale grabbed Daniel's arm, restraining him. Don't waste your fury on him. Evelyn Carter shouted. Jonathan, can't you see? He's tearing us apart. Jonathan's jaw clenched. Better torn than blind. Adrian smirked. Your obsession makes you predictable. Jonathan turned on him. And your lies make you weak. The foundry groaned, steel beams echoing. Daniel sobbed. She died for nothing. Jonathan whispered. No, she died for the truth. Adrian's voice cut through. Or for the secret that should have stayed buried. Lightning struck nearby, shaking the foundry to its core. Jonathan Hale hissed. I will not stop until Whitfield answers for this. Evelyn Carter whispered. Jonathan, you're burning yourself alive. Adrian Cross laughed softly. He already reeks of smoke. Daniel Ward wept, clutching the charred journal. Her voice is gone, but the fire lingers. Jonathan placed a hand on Daniel's shoulder. Her voice speaks through us now. Evelyn's eyes filled with fear. Or it consumes us next. Adrian's smirk faded as he muttered, the blaze never stops at one vessel. Jonathan's eyes locked with his. Then let it come. I will face it. The storm's howl swallowed their voices, the foundry trembling like a dying beast. The foundry's core chamber groaned as rust flaked from steel beams. Jonathan Hale whispered, Here. The fire began. Evelyn Carter clutched her chest, shivering. And here it will end if we're not careful. Daniel Ward trembled, pointing to scorched markings carved into the floor. She left these symbols before she died. Adrian Cross smirked. Her ashes are scripture for those who can read. Jonathan's eyes blazed. Then I'll decipher every line. Evelyn shouted, Stop, you're unraveling. He turned sharply. Truth demands unraveling. The storm's roar seeped through cracked windows, rattling the metal. Daniel whispered, The fire speaks through her. I can hear it still. Jonathan placed his hand on the symbol. Then it will speak through me. Jonathan Hale traced the burned markings, muttering, coordinates or warnings. Evelyn Carter grabbed his arm. You're burning yourself out. He yanked free. Better burned than blind. Daniel Ward whispered, She knew it was coming. She knew the fire chose her. Adrian Cross leaned close. And it will choose again. Jonathan's face twisted with obsession. Then let it choose me. Evelyn cried, You'll kill yourself. Adrian smirked. Not if he finds Whitfield first. Jonathan said, Whitfield feared this. That means it holds the key. Evelyn shook her head. Or the curse. Thunder cracked, shaking the walls. Jonathan's whisper lingered. Curses are truths. We can't survive. The air grew hotter, a suffocating wave pressing against their skin. Daniel Ward gasped. It's happening again. Evelyn Carter's eyes widened. The heat's rising, without fire. Jonathan Hale spread his arms, whispering, It welcomes me. Evelyn screamed, Stop this madness! Adrian Cross stepped closer, his eyes glinting. He understands now. Fire is not destruction, it's revelation. Jonathan's face glowed in the unnatural heat. Then, Revelation consumes me. Evelyn shook violently. Jonathan, you'll die. Daniel wept. So did she. So will we all. Jonathan's voice cracked like embers. No, I'll be the last. The chamber groaned, metal snapping in protest. The heat shimmered like invisible flames dancing. Jonathan Hale staggered, sweat dripping as his vision blurred. I see them, the dead. Everyone. Evelyn Carter sobbed. You're hallucinating. He whispered. They burn in silence, screaming without sound. Daniel Ward cried, my sister, she's among them. Adrian Cross whispered darkly, and Whitfield stands behind their ashes. Jonathan's eyes widened, his voice trembling. Whitfield knew the source. Evelyn shook him violently. Then leave it buried. Adrian smirked. He won't, he can't. Jonathan's voice hardened. I will face him, even if it kills me. Daniel whispered. It will. Evelyn's desperate cry echoed. Jonathan, don't you see? You've become the flame. The chamber shuddered as unseen force cracked the floor. Fireless heat engulfed them, rattling steel beams. Jonathan Hale whispered, it has chosen. Evelyn Carter screamed. Chosen what? His eyes glowed faintly. Me. Daniel Ward collapsed, clutching his chest. We'll all die here. Adrian Cross smiled faintly. No, only he will burn. Evelyn cried, don't you dare sacrifice him. Jonathan stepped forward, fists clenched. I walk willingly. Evelyn's sobs shook the chamber. Jonathan, I won't let it take you. Adrian's whisper cut like steel. It already has. Jonathan raised his head, voice resolute. Then let Whitfield see what the fire made of me. The storm outside roared like a beast as the foundry doors burst open, and Marcus Whitfield entered, calm and imposing. Jonathan Hale whispered, so the keeper arrives at last. Evelyn Carter gasped, Whitfield. Marcus Whitfield's voice carried authority. You should never have come here. Adrian Cross smirked, and yet here we are. Daniel Ward coughed, collapsing against the wall. You knew she would die. Whitfield's gaze hardened. Her death was necessary. Jonathan stepped forward, his body trembling with heat. Necessary? You buried lives in silence. Whitfield replied, I buried chaos. Evelyn shouted, you buried truth. Jonathan's fists clenched. Then tonight, truth burns free. Lightning illuminated the chamber, shadows stretching like demons. Marcus Whitfield stepped closer, his eyes cold. You think truth liberates, Jonathan? It destroys. Jonathan Hale retorted, destruction is already here, hidden in your silence. Evelyn Carter pleaded, please, stop this, both of you. Daniel Ward cried, my sister was no sacrifice. Whitfield's tone was sharp. She was chosen. Adrian Cross chuckled darkly. Ah, the grand revelation. Jonathan's voice shook with rage. Chosen by whom? By you? By you? Whitfield whispered, by the fire itself. Evelyn's breath caught. You speak as if it lives. Jonathan snarled, it does. And it's with me now. Whitfield's eyes narrowed. Then it has consumed you already. The chamber pulsed with heat, walls creaking under invisible pressure. Jonathan Hale staggered, fireless heat radiating from his skin. Evelyn Carter cried, Jonathan, it's killing you. He whispered, no, it's showing me. Marcus Whitfield's voice thundered, you are a vessel, nothing more. Jonathan spat, then this vessel rebels. Daniel Ward sobbed, stop, this curse claimed her, it must end. Adrian Cross smirked, circling the group. And so the vessel rises against the keeper. Evelyn shouted, you're all mad. Jonathan's body shook, veins glowing faintly. No more lies. Whitfield, you end tonight. Whitfield raised his hand, voice low. Then burn, and let the world burn with you. The storm's thunder merged with the groaning steel above. The chamber erupted with invisible force, papers and dust swirling violently. Evelyn Carter screamed, shielding her face. Jonathan Hale roared, "This ends now." Marcus Whitfield's voice cut through the chaos. "You cannot destroy what you are becoming." Adrian Cross whispered, almost reverent, magnificent. Daniel Ward clutched his chest, crying, "It's happening again." Jonathan's eyes burned with unnatural light. "If the fire lives through me, then it dies with me." Evelyn shouted, "No, Jonathan." Whitfield sneered, "You're too weak." Jonathan staggered forward, every step shaking the floor. Weakness is silence, strength is truth. The chamber's heat distorted the air, warping every shadow. The chamber quaked as Jonathan Hale lunged at Marcus Whitfield, light erupting from his body like fire without flame. Evelyn Carter screamed, "Jonathan, no!" Whitfield shouted, "Fool!" The impact threw them both against the steel beams, heat cracking the walls. Adrian Cross laughed manically. "The blaze crowns its air." Daniel Ward wailed, "It will consume everything." Evelyn cried, "Jonathan, fight it!" Jonathan's glowing eyes softened. "The fire is not master. I am." With a final roar, he slammed Whitfield into the burning floor. The foundry erupted in a blinding glow, then silence. Evelyn knelt, sobbing in the fading heat. Daniel whispered, "The fire chose him, and he chose us." Adrian's shadow lingered, smiling faintly in the aftermath.